What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another educational top 5 video. Today we're going to be going over the top 5 mid laners in ranked of the OB15 patch. I've been playing a ton of mid lane before, especially when solo lane was a lot worse. I was spamming mid lane. I kind of consider it my main role now, but after the patch I have been playing a lot of solo lane again, so been cooking up some videos with that. But of course, mid lane is a ton of fun. I think I know a good amount about it just from playing it, playing against people, good players playing it, like Paul's been playing the game again. Benny Q's been playing the game again and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like I have a good grasp of what I think at least is the top 5 in the mid lane. So I'm going to go over that today and teach you guys what to be building on these characters so you can win all your ranked games and your casuals and everything. So without further ado, let's begin. At number 5, I'm going to be having Vulcan. Vulcan, I actually think feels really good. It's one of my favorite characters to play, especially with his new skin. I love his new skin. Now, this is the build I usually go, just because it's a ton of fun, and it's also pretty viable. I already had it saved because I showed my stream this, and because I had spammed this build. Just a full CDR build. Your ult is on like a 20-second cooldown, and if you get a kill in a team fight, which you normally do if you're using an ult, as long as you're hitting it, it's coming back even sooner, like a 10-second. Like, I've used like 3 ults in like the span of like 20 seconds of a team fight. So you can go this type of build on him, just full CDR. You can customize it a little bit. I do recommend it, and especially because it's fun. If you want to customize it a little bit to make it a little bit more viable, instead of going Worldstone third, just go Ratatouille third into Obsidian Shard. So your build would be Chronos Pendant, Deso, Ratatouille, Obsidian Shard. And then your next 2 items, situational. It could be Jade Scepter. It could be... what's it called? Doomorb. You go Doomorb Jade Scepter, and that would also be a really good build. A little bit less CDR in that build. You'll do a little bit more damage, but not have your abilities up as often. So that's really up to you. But this build is definitely viable. I'll go ahead and let me just edit it and throw in situational items so you guys can see those items that I'm talking about. So I said Jade Scepter. Something you're going to notice in a lot of these builds is that the core of the build, similar to the solo lane builds, is pretty similar in most games. There's just some clear-cut best items for mages right now. And those are going to be Deso, Ratatouille, and Chronos Pendant, and Sands of Time on every single mage, because Sands of Time is broken. It gives you infinite mana for the entire game. So yeah, that's going to be your Vulcan build. Customize it how you'd like. Let's go ahead and go back. So that was Vulcan at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we're going to have Princess Bari. So still technically a mage, does magical damage, but her build is going to be physical-based or strength-based. If you're coming from Smite 1, physical-based kind of thing. You're still doing magical damage, of course. Your starter item is going to be Bluestone, and you're going to go tier 1 axe with this, just so you get that a little bit extra damage in the early game. You're going to get 3 potions with this, plus beads most games, unless they really have no CC, and you can just slam an Aegis. But so the full build is going to be something along these lines, because Heartseeker is still very, very, very strong right now. So if your character has strength scaling in their kit and is ability based, then you kind of want to be building towards the strength side of the game. So yeah, it's pretty simple stuff. Basically, every game you're going to be going Devs, Crusher, Heartseeker. You can go Oathsworn Spear with this if you'd like, just to lower the protections even more. And then Titan's Bane. You're going to be doing a lot of damage with this. And the last item is going to be a little bit situational. Sometimes you can slam a little bit of attack speed here, just so you can do a little bit extra damage with your autos because your abilities are hitting really hard. Or you can just get a little bit more cooldown, something like a Jotun's or a Pendulum Blade last item, or even like a Tekko if you really wanted to. So yeah, it's going to be up to you for this last item. Barbed Carver is also pretty decent. It's going to scale off of your lifesteal as well, which you're getting from devs. So that's always an option. But yeah, you're going to slam with this build. Bari's still pretty good. They've nerfed her quite a bit, but I still think she's probably one of the top 5 mid laners. One of the few like auto attack-ish characters that I'm having in the top 5. But again, you can't go wrong with Heartseeker builds right now. They're still very, very strong. So as long as your character can abuse that, which Bari definitely can. She's got a lot of abilities, and she can even spam like 3 abilities back to back with her passive spirit, and you are going to be abusing Heartseeker very well. So that's Bari at number 4. We are going to have honorable mentions as well today, so keep that in mind. Coming in at number 3, okay, I guess you consider this character auto attack, but we're going to be throwing in Neath, this character without aspect, and of course Vulcan without aspect. Do not use Vulcan aspect in mid; that will lower your damage too much. So coming in at number 3, we have Neath, but we're going to be going full int mage build. And you're probably thinking, didn't you just say if your character scales off strength, you want to abuse Heartseeker? Technically, yes. But I think Neath specifically with Chronos Pendant and Deso being able to spam with this character is insane, because you actually do so much damage with your base kit. She's like it feels bugged a lot of the time, honestly. Like, you don't need Heartseeker to actually kill people with this character. You can literally miss your root and then just 2 backflip somebody and in an AoE, and it will do like the majority of most people's health. It's kind of insane. This character feels bugged when you play against her sometimes. But like I said, Sands of Time on basically everybody. We're going to go tier 1 int because we are going to be going towards the, wait, let me see here. What is it called? Gem? Yeah, this little guy. Sorry. Go potions and our beats. And then our full late game build is going to be Pendulum. We're actually going to be going Doom Orb first on Neath to get a decent amount of int. Doom Orb's like a nice item for if you're playing a character that needs a little bit of like extra scaling, need a little bit more int, like they can't just be a spam right away, then Doom Orb's nice, but then you can still go into those items that I was talking about that are basically in every single build, and that's going to be Deso, Chronos Pendant. Where is this bad boy? Here it is. And Rada 2 Hootie is going to be in basically every single one of your builds. Into Obsidian. Now, something you can slot into the Neath build specifically is a Poly, because she does have some nice auto cancels. And of course, it's going to be easy to hit. Like if you hit your root and then auto off of that, it's going to slap an extra Poly proc on, so that'll be nice. So you can consider going that. If you are going to go that, maybe just replace Chronos Pendant with it. So just go Doom Orb, Deso, Poly, Ratatouille, Obsidian Shard, and then maybe you could round out the build with a Chronos Pendant if you'd like. So it's really up to you. I'm just going to throw in Poly here at the end. It's some situational items because you want your ult to hit really hard, which it's already going to with this build, but you could technically slap on a Reaver. Say you're going to be ulting some like Bruiser jungles. If you're against a Bruiser jungle and they're building a decent amount of HP, like they're building like Contagion, that's going to give them a bunch of HP, stuff like that, you could throw a Reaver on and then you could ult those junglers who are trying to split push or 1v1 the other jungler. That could help a lot. I'll throw Jade Scepter in here as well because I think Jade Scepter is pretty good, viable in most games. And also throw Soul Gem in here because you could round out the Neath build with a Soul Gem as well because you're going to be spamming pretty hard. And if you do your full combo, you're going to tack on a Soul Gem with that, and it's going to make you hit extra hard. But yeah, that's pretty much the Soul build, or the Soul build, the Neath build. And very strong character, literally feels bugged a lot of the time, and a very good mid laner. You can go the physical route if you are going to go the Heartseeker or strength-based route. You're going to want to be building basically the same thing as Bari. Just go Debs, Crusher, Heartseeker. Maybe a little bit more CDR, maybe go like a Jotuns earlier so you can ult more often, but pretty much the same thing. If you want to go that route, you can. We'll call this, I didn't save the Bari build, but Neath mid build OB15. Save that. I don't think I saved the other one, sadly, but anyway, no problem. Moving on to number 2. Sila. Sila's been in like every single one of my ranked games lately. She's pretty much in every single game, whether she's in mid lane or in other roles, because people are playing her with her aspect and building her tank, which is actually pretty good. But if you're playing her in mid lane, I don't think you should go aspect. It's possible you can go aspect and go like a bruiser build and be very hard to deal with, but for the most part, I don't recommend just going aspect Sila mid. And her builds are going to be pretty similar to Neath even, and everyone else's, just because these items are very good. The only couple characters that are going to have unique builds are the number 1 character and a couple honorable mentions. But anyway, same thing. We're going to get that tier 1 gem. So we're going to have that, some 3 health potions and beads, or you can go, if you'd like, you can go 2 health potions and 1 multi potion. That's usually what I do, but it's up to you. 3 health potions, 1 multi with 2 health potions. Doesn't really matter that much. Of course, we're going Pendulum of Ages late game. You don't need Conduit. Some people are going Conduit on Scylla to like have their clear early game. You don't need to do that. Just go Sands of Time on every mage, every game, and you will be fine. You'll be doing good. So we're going to be rushing Doom Orb on Scylla because she's another one of these characters. Yeah, relax. Sorry, Cleo the dog is being a whiny girl. She's another one of these characters that you want to have like that extra scaling on. You still are going to get a bit of CDR, so don't need to worry. And kind of like Deso is your one-stop shop for CDR anyway, and it has a ton of damage on it. 100 int is pretty high compared to a lot of the other int items. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go Doom Orb into Deso. We're going to go Poly as well on Scylla. Very strong on this character. Synergizes well with her 3, which now gives you extra auto attack damage after you dash. Just after your auto, your first auto will be basically a Poly proc. So that's really nice. And into a Rada 2 Hootie. Again, Rada 2 Hootie in every single build. Into Obsidian Shard so we can actually get our pen online. There is always the option, if you're not building any, like say you're in a weird game where they don't have a tanky soul laner right now and their support's building like a health build, you don't need to rush the Obsidian here. You should probably get it eventually because it's always still good. But instead of going the Obsidian here in that type of game, you could just go another in item like a Jade Scepter or maybe even like a Reaver because they're building health and not protections. But for the most part, Obsidian's going to be there. I don't like really ever going Reaver on Sila, so I'm not even going to throw it in the situational items. Last time, it's going to be, again, really up to you, depending on the game. Sometimes it could be a Soul Gem. Sometimes it could be a Merlin, so you could double 2. Now Odin's barking. One sec. So I like going Merlin, so you could double 2. You could double root with that. So I'll throw that in as a situational. Right here. So that'd be like situational items would be like Merlin, Jade Scepter again. Some people build Jade Scepter on like most of their mages. It's more of like a comfortability and like preference type thing, because if you're comfortable with that and used to it, you can easily hit a lot of abilities off of a Jade Scepter, such as like a Vulcan or a Sila ult or a Sila combo, or like you could even do it on like Neath, for example, and just easily one-shot people just to set up yourself. But also in every build, Dreamer's Idol as a last item will be situational. This applies to all mages in this 6th slot, just because it's very expensive, but it's very good, right? You're getting what you pay for, but a lot of games you just can't sit there with 30 and wait 3,500 gold, so it's just not going to be possible a lot of the time. So that'll be Sila mid build OB15. I didn't all caps it. What the heck? Yeah, this is going to be very, very strong. You'll do well with this. I might actually save my gold and get a Dreamer's Idol on Sila specifically, just because it will make your ult hit like crazy hard, so make sure you can guarantee that last hit. So yeah, that's going to be the Sila build. So that was Sila at number 2. Before we get to the number 1 character, let me, sorry if you could hear my fan, by the way, this whole time. It's very hot these days. Got to keep the fan on. Before we get to number 1, let's go over a couple of honorable mentions. I'm going to throw Uller in here. Now, Uller's very good. He's not apparently in the mid lane. But Uller's very good. I just didn't have him in the actual top 5 because I think that mages are actually pretty good right now. So going in items is good, and Uller can't do that. But obviously, Heartseeker is still very, very strong. And if you could build Chronos Pen on Uller, oh, that would be the best. That would be so cool. So pretty much the exact same build as Bari, except we're probably not going to be going devs in mid lane on Uller. And we are going to go tier 1 axe. I think it's probably better just to apply your pressure in the early game to just rush Hydras and then get those Crusher Heartseeker procs going. Let's see if I can just type this out. I actually might go Oathsworn Spear here first for the early game damage. I mean, for all game damage, Oathsworn is really good. It's one of the few flat pen items in the game. Then we'll go Titan's Bane. And then last item, maybe we could go like a Barbed Carver, because it still works with Uller's passive lifesteal. So if you want to get something like that late game, you can. I think specifically on him, it's more viable. But yeah, really up to you. You could even throw in a Deathbringer last item. I feel like that's pretty good with Hydra's procs. So that could be your mid lane build. But most of the time, probably just going to be like a Barbed Carver. Barbed Carver angle. So I'll throw that there. And then I'll throw Deathbringer as a situational item. Because it really is like, I feel like with the, especially with this type of build, like just hitting some auto cancels and randomly getting a Deathbringer Hydra's crit is pretty insane. So yeah, we'll just have that for now. And we'll throw this in. So situational last item. Uller mid build OB15. Okay. Oh yeah, you have to go like this. I don't think you ever need Transcendence on Uller, especially in mid lane. I don't want you to be like wasting time stacking that. Just get Hydras, get Crusher, and start running at people and applying your pressure. It's kind of the point of Uller. So yeah, that's Uller as an honorable mention. Another honorable mention is going to be Hu Yi. I wanted to throw Hu Yi in here as well because I actually think he's pretty good in mid, but also he has a lot of different viable builds. I think you could go the int route on him. If you want to do that, just go like the full CDR, Chronos Pendant, Deso. You could even go Poly, Radas Jehudi, Obsidian Shard if you want to do that, similar to those other mages. Or you could just go the full Fizz route and just go like a Dev Gloves. He's not like a pure pressure god, so you could go Dev Gloves, Crusher, Heartseeker, and go that route. Oathsworn Spear, Titan's Bane, and just be ability based. Or this build, just because it's very different to all the other builds I've shown you. I wanted to throw this in here. We're gonna be going Destal, tier 1 of Axe, because we're gonna be rushing Dev Gloves. We're gonna go our potions and beads. So of course, Death Embrace late game. I want to show this build because it's very different, like I said, because it's just a full auto attack build. And the reason this is good, and the reason you could do like a strength-based ability build and it still be good on Hu Yi is because your auto attacks are still going to hit really hard. Remember, in Smite 2, all of your auto attacks scale off 100% of your strength, whereas only 20% of end. So if your character scales off strength and you're also auto attack focused, you can do a lot of damage with your abilities by building strength while also doing a lot of damage with strength, or with your auto attacks by building strength. So sometimes if you're just building int, it's not going to be as powerful because if your character uses a lot of auto attacks, it's just not going to be as beneficial. So yeah, we're going to be going Oboe into Tierfing and into a Executioner, into a Titan's Bane, into a situational last item. You can also throw a Sunbeam Bow in here if they have a lot of extra HP. You can go Kin Size here. It's going to be up to you. You can go Wind Demon last item. A lot of times this last item is going to be situational, especially considering they added an extra whole slot in Smite 2 to the item build. So yeah, it's going to be up to you. I'll just go ahead and throw in a Wind Demon, and then I'll put the situational items down here. Sometimes situational doesn't exactly mean like it depends on the situation. It just kind of depends on what you want to do, because there's a lot of like good items and what you're comfortable with. So this is an example of that. If you like Sunbeam Bow and you can manage the mana well, then you could slot in a Sunbeam Bow if you'd like. And same thing with like Kin Size. That's actually situational though. If they have a lot of extra HP in their builds, then you could consider a Kin Size. But yeah, still a very good build. And it's just going to be a little bit different. And like I said, I do recommend still playing mages, because their AoE damage with the int items is very good. And you can abuse stuff like Death Zone and Ratatouille, which is strong. But something to consider is Hui is definitely viable. And I'm actually going to give you one more honorable mention. Just an honorable mention. I do think the order of all these characters plus honorable mentions works and makes sense. But this character is hiddenly OP, okay? This character... Only problem is you might be playing into some Barons. Baron is actually pretty decent in mid lane right now. He's very good in support. He's decent in solo. And he counters Ra really hard. And there's some other bad matchups like Odin jungle and stuff. So if you aren't playing against those and you know what you're doing, this character is insane. His 2 is ridiculous. His build is also a little bit different, so I wanted to show you guys that today as well. Let's go Gem. Just real quick, just go over him. The reason I think this character is OP is not because of his passive. It's not because of his ults hitting people and one-shotting them. It's not because of his healing, that's for sure. That's pretty much negligible. This character is OP because of his 2. In Smite 2, after using your 2, you get these little solar flares that go through walls and hit very, very hard. They absolutely slam. If somebody dives you and you use this build and you auto-cancel with your other abilities, like a jungler, you can literally one-shot them in like 2 seconds if you use your 2s well. So the build is going to be Doom Orb into Deso, or you can actually do the reverse of this. You can go Deso, Doom Orb if you'd like. This is definitely a character. Let me go ahead and throw this in just to really emphasize it. This is definitely a character you can build Jade Scepter on. It's very strong on him. However, I personally don't do it. I don't think you need it, but it can really set up your combos and just guarantee when you get dove, you just one-shot them. So the reason this character is a little bit different is you're going to be going Soul Gem 3rd, and the reason for this is that your 2 autos actually proc it. So very, very strong on him. And we're going to be going Cyclopean. You can go Rod or Cyclopean first, really up to you. At this point, you have enough int where Cyclopean will be justified at this point. But you can go Rod and then Cyclopean. And the reason you go Cyclopean is for your 2s. You're going to get a ton of attack speed from this because you have so much int. You're going to be above 2.0 attack speed with just 1 attack speed item. And you're still getting some int and some lifesteal from it. And the reason it's so strong is because you're spamming your 2s with this. It's a duration-based thing on Raw 2. So it's not like, oh, you only get 3 autos after where you can send out the solar flares. It's duration-based, so the more attack speed that you have, the more solar flares you can send out. So with this build at this point, you could probably get like 7 or 8 solar flares off. And at that point, also, they're probably doing like 400 or 500 damage each, and they go through walls. So if you just do the math, if you hit enough of these, you can literally one-shot somebody with just those. It's insane. And then last item, always going to be situational. But specifically, you actually don't need Obsidian on Raw. I don't think, personally, I don't build it sometimes. But if there's, there's a lot of tanky jungles right now, and if they're diving you, you're going to want to have Obsidian for them. You could also go Totem of Death because Raw's 2 does proc it. It's considered an ability, so it procs items, that proc ability items. But, so you're not going to want like Poly or like auto attack items like XC. That does not work on Raw. It will not proc on your 2, so keep that in mind. Even though it feels like it probably should because they're auto attacks, it's ability based. So I'm going to go ahead and Reaver in because, like I said, it does proc on the 2. So you can consider going that. Same thing with Totem. And those are going to be your situational items. Just a little bit different of a build, so I wanted to throw that in there, even as an honorable mention. And like I said, in the right game, this character is insane. So pick it in the right scenarios. Don't pick it against Baron. Don't pick it against Odin. And you should be feeling good. So yeah, that's Ra as the last honorable mention. And at number 1, we have, drum roll please, Merlin. Some of you guys probably guessed it. This character is insane right now. They recently nerfed his aspect, but buffed his base kit. And that buff to his base kit, plus the items that are meta right now, are very, very good with him. The thing is, this character might be a little bit more difficult to play for some people. So I have him at number 1, but it's very reliant on you getting good at this character and getting good at his auto attack cancels, because it's very, very important, especially for the build that we're going. Of course, we're going Sands of Time, tier 1 gem, the same old, nothing crazy here. Plus speeds. So we'll go Pendulum late game. First item is actually going to be Poly. Now, this is what I'm talking about with the auto cancels. Hello? Poly? Oh, it's because I have cooldown rate. What? Okay, let me just go find it. Here it is. Okay. Merlin passive, auto cancels. After using the ability, you get extra auto attack damage. You get extra auto attack damage on your next auto. Same thing with Poly. You can combine those with the spam ability of Merlin in Smite 2 with his Ice Stance 3 that reduces all of his cooldowns. If you use your auto attack cancels correctly, you do so much damage. You farm super well and you fight super well. Even in the early game, you can outtrade people that you would never expect to from Smite 1. So just get good at using those auto attack cancels and you will fry people. We're going to be going into a Chronos Pendant after that. If you'd prefer to go Chronos Pendant first, you can do that. Only issue with that is you're going to be a little mana hungry. You have Sands of Time, so it's not too big of a deal. But Poly will solve that and also give you a little bit more farm potential in the early game. And then you can go into that Chronos Pendant. Into a Deso. You could also go Soul Gem here, up to you. We're going to get Soul Gem eventually at some point, but we're going to go Ratatouille into Obsidian Shard. You can go Totem of Death on Merlin. I just personally prefer Obsidian a little bit more just for that oomph right away. Because if I use like an Ice one on somebody in auto attack cancel, that's not going to have Totem of Death stacked on them. So Obsidian will have that pen right away. So why I personally prefer it. And then you can go that Soul Gem last item, or you can go Reaver last item. That's also viable. And of course, all these other items that I've always talked about. Jade Scepter a little bit less viable on Merlin. You don't really need it to set up your combo. You could go it if you want to. That's up to you. We'll throw a Doom Orb in there. Always an option if you want to slot in like a high int item into your build. You feel like you need it. Mirrodin's actually pretty decent on Merlin as well. And I recommend using it on your flicker, on your ice flickers specifically, because that can reset your cooldowns twice. So that's part of the reason Merlin in Smite 2 is so strong. It's because they added all those extra effects to his 3. In your Ice Stance, you get cooldowns. You get 3 seconds off all your cooldowns, or 4 seconds. In your Purple Stance, you get a percentage of your health back of the damage you just took. And in Fire Stance, you get extra tick damage on your autos after flickering. That's the one you're going to use the least. Purple one can be nice in team fights, just to get a little bit of health back as you go away. But Ice Stance Flicker is going to be the most important one. You're going to be using that often. I would use that with Mirrored. Did my voice just crack? What is this? COD Lobby 2011? But yeah, Merlin, very, very strong. Use those auto attack cancels, abuse the Ice Flicker, and just farm up like crazy. And don't be afraid to fight people. Like, some people are just, like, if you play Merlin and you're thinking, oh, I'm not really like good at that character, you're probably just running away in situations where you could fight them. Just stand your ground, drop your ice abilities or your purple abilities, whatever stance you're in on yourself, stance swap, auto attack cancel between each of these abilities, and you'll be surprised at how much more you're going to kill people and how much more you didn't have to run away. Could have stand your ground. Anyway, that's Merlin at number 1, and that's Merlin build. Wait, I didn't title it. Merlin number 1 mid build OB15. There you go. So yeah, those are your top 5 mid laners with the honorable mentions plus their builds. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. I'll try and answer them. Like I said, I've been playing a ton of mid lane. It's a ton of fun, dude. Mages in Smite 2 are the dopamine glitch. Absolutely insane, especially with how like good the CDR items are. And if you go like a full CDR build like I do on Vulcan with like World Stone, Deso, Chronos Pendant, it's literally just like match of the day dopamine SSRI hack. So I love it. I personally love it. And that's why I've been spamming it a bunch. That's why I feel like I have enough information on it and data that I can give you guys the best builds and gods. So yeah, those are the guys you should be playing. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe and healthy as always. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.